Matthew Dekker here with Amateurs by Flin Flon head coach Mike Regean. Good to see you again. It's been a crazy month and a bit here since we last talked. Let's start with yesterday's game here. A bit of a back and forth affair, but you guys managed to hold on for the win there. What were your thoughts of?
Yeah, I was pretty happy jumping out to a 2-0 lead, and we give them one back there, and then we get up 3-1, and then it's kind of a little bit of a seesaw affair and that sort of thing. But when we scored that fourth goal to go up 4-2, I felt pretty confident. As a coach, I don't think you ever enjoy giving up a goal with 12 seconds left in the game and that sort of thing. But we get the first win of a road trip, and that's always the most important thing.
And a little bit of a different game with SaskTel in the building yesterday, a bit of a different element. How do you handle that as a coach?
You know what? To be honest with you, I didn't even really think about it. I didn't put a lot of thought into it for our players. I mean, it was only really an adjustment for one or two guys that had to do some interviews and stuff like that. But, I think it's fun for the players. I think that, it makes them feel like it's a bigger show than what it is. And I think that they enjoy that stuff. So, being able to be a part of that, we'd prefer to be up in Flin Flon doing it. I think that'd be a pretty cool thing, but obviously no SaskTel up there.
For sure. Trade deadline. You guys made a few key moves there. Let's start with getting a goaltender. There.
Yeah, so I think with Cal, we all knew that we had to get a goaltender, for about a month. We were running with an AP, and DeLorme was playing a lot of games, and so it was a matter of us finding the right fit and making sure that we got a guy that we felt comfortable with. And we had something in the works there that was, we thought that we had a gentleman's agreement with the team, and it fell through, and that's so we were scrambling a little bit, and excuse me, Cal became available, and we did our homework on him, and I like the fact that he's a big goaltender. He's athletic, he moves well in the net, and I thought he played really well last night. So I think he's getting more comfortable with each start with us, and we're extremely happy with him.
Another player you pulled in was Heenan Clayton from Whitecourt there. You flipped one player from Ontario to get him. How did that all fall in place?
Yeah, I knew that he was going to be available, and the Hagars had played with him last year, and they're good buddies with him. So, sometimes you got to put a little faith in your players or your teammates there, and they said good things about him, and so I talked to Whitecourt, and they were looking for a player out of Ontario. So it was one of those things where if you can get me this guy, I'll give you this guy, and it came down to the witching hour, and we were able to pull through with it, and happy with him. He's a big body that skates well, and he's got a good shot, and I think that he's going to be a guy that can play in the playoffs, and we're looking for someone that's going to be tough to play against and just make us overall as a team deeper and a little bit bigger.
And then the big name that everyone was talking about here in the SJHL was bringing in Bannister from Melville.
Yeah, so Banny, he's been with Melville and Larange, and never really been put in a situation to be surrounded by a supporting cast. So it's been a difficult thing for him, and there's an adjustment coming to a team with the depth that we have, but he's been fantastic, and this is what he wants as a 20-year-old is to be a part of a team that has an opportunity to maybe win a championship. And his buy-in's been great, and his attitude, work ethic, there's zero complaints from our standpoint, and who can pass up on a guy that put up 70 points last year. So I think he's still finding his way right now, and adjusting to the way we do things and it's going to take some time, and once we find that right chemistry for him, I think it's going to be a real bonus for both of us. And that's what you've got 13, 14 games remaining here to try to find that chemistry amongst four lines and be rolling in the playoffs.
Oh, and you said we're about a dozen games left here in the season. You guys look like you're firmly in that number 2 spot going into the playoffs here. How happy are you with your team right now, where you're standing, with how they're playing? You guys have put up 4 goals in the last 8 games here.
Yeah, obviously you'd like to be a little bit closer to Battleford and that sort of thing. We've let a few games slide that were frustrating because we played them well. The last 3 times we've played them, and we felt that we deserved, to come out with a few more points than what we did, and we had closed the gap on them there after we beat them 10-1 in Battleford, and we were within striking distance, and then we kind of faltered a little bit, and they got back on track, and it's one of those things where you'd like to be in a better position that way, but we're pretty comfortable and confident in the way we've played so far this year. And what's extremely impressive for us is our road record. We've only got 4 regulation losses on the road, which for a team that travels as much as we do is pretty impressive. And it's a credit to the guys just buckling down and being able to come off the bus and get right into it and not dig yourself a hole early on, and as the game gets going further and deeper, and we seem to be playing better hockey and stuff like that. So there's still lots of things that can happen here. We don't want to get too comfortable, and as a coach, it's my job to make sure that we don't. And so my mindset's got to be on keep pushing the guys and continue to set goals for them and make sure that we're achieving them.
Talking about being too comfortable, is that potentially a pitfall coming up here to the playoffs, but of looking maybe too far to the playoffs instead of finishing off the season strong?
Well, it can be, but I think our guys have done a good job at just staying focused. We've set some team goals, and I think that right now we're on pace to achieve them and that sort of thing. So as long as you continue to have those 3, 4, 5 game increments where you're setting those goals, and the guys see that there's rewards for achieving those goals, I think that that's important. And we know that Nipawin's been playing real well here, and it's a swing of 2 or 3 games one way, and you can find yourself in a real battle. So are we happy that we're not in that 3, 4, 5, 6 battle right now? Yeah, for sure. But there's a lot of good competition within the league, and on a nightly basis, you're faced with challenges. So I don't think that we're going to get too complacent or anything like that, because like I said, we've had some good battles here over the last 10 games.
And lastly, game 2 of your road trip tonight in Melville. What do you expect from the Millionaires tonight?
Well, I think that, they're scrapping and fighting for their playoff lives. So, those are the teams that are the most dangerous. And, we don't want to be overconfident. We don't want going in there just thinking that this is going to be an easy 2 points. And, again, that's got to be our mindset, when we do team stretch here and have our little meeting. That's something we're going to address. And as long as we go in there and we stick to the game plan and continue to play the way we need to play in order to be successful, I think we will be.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us. It's part 3 of this season. It's been amazing having you around. For Amateur Sports, I'm Matthew Dekker.